Life often places us on a precipice, a fragile ledge between giving up and rising above. On one side lies surrender, the tempting ease of letting go, of abandoning the battle when exhaustion has settled deep into the bones. On the other side lies the fight, the harder, lonelier, and more demanding path of standing, of facing fear when every instinct screams to run. The edge feels precarious. Every step, every heartbeat, every thought carries the weight of a decision that will shape the soul. And yet, it is in this very tension, this terrifying balance, that character is forged. The precipice is not just a place. It is a mirror reflecting every doubt, every fear, every whisper of inadequacy. It reminds the weary traveler that the path to greatness is never straight, never easy, and never guaranteed. Each heartbeat is a drum of defiance, a declaration that despite exhaustion, despite pain, despite the silent voice begging for surrender, they will stand. The choice is rarely clear. Fear whispers that survival is found in retreat, that the safest path is away from struggle, away from confrontation, away from pain. But the heart knows otherwise. It knows that true strength is never built in the comfort of avoidance. Every time we choose to fight instead of fleeing, to confront rather than conceal, we stretch the limits of what we thought was possible. The edge becomes not a place of terror, but a proving ground, a space where courage is tested, refined, and ultimately expanded. In the quiet moments when the wind howls and the night presses close, the soul wrestles with doubt, wrestling with shadows of past failures, echoes of ridicule, and the weight of unseen eyes. And yet, it is precisely in this struggle, in this grinding resistance, that resilience is born. The edge teaches that fear is not the enemy. It is the teacher, the guide, the unrelenting force shaping the steel of resolve within. Choosing fight over flight does not mean the absence of fear. It means acting in spite of it. It means walking toward the storm when every fiber of the body screams to turn away. Each battle fought on that edge teaches something invaluable. The world will not yield its challenges to the timid, its victories to the hesitant, or its rewards to those who shrink from confrontation. The edge demands clarity, determination, and a refusal to let the weight of doubt dictate destiny. It strips away excuses, illusions, and pretenses, leaving only the raw, unfiltered power of choice. Every step forward is a defiance, a proclamation that surrender will not claim them, that the storm will not define them, that despair will not dictate their fate. The edge shows that courage is not a singular act, but a series of decisions repeated endlessly, each one reinforcing the spine of the soul. And in those moments when the body wants to collapse, when the mind pleads for escape, and when the heart trembles at the enormity of what lies ahead, something remarkable happens. The soul discovers itself. A reservoir of strength rises from places previously unknown. Courage blooms from the soil of desperation, and a clarity of purpose emerges that can only be forged on the edge. Flight becomes an illusion, surrender a mirage, and the fight, the relentless, unyielding, defiant fight, becomes the only path forward. The ledge becomes a stage where the soul confronts its limitations, challenges its fears, and redefines the boundaries of possibility. Pain becomes fuel, doubt becomes focus, and exhaustion becomes a reminder that life's most transformative moments are forged in struggle. To live on the edge of surrender is to understand that every victory, every breakthrough, and every moment of triumph is born from the choice to fight when retreat would have been easier. It is a constant reminder that true power is not given, it is taken, claimed, and carried with unshakable resolve. And for those who dare to stand when the world expects them to fall, the edge transforms from a place of fear into a place of revelation. The revelation that the human spirit, when challenged, has no limit. And in the silent triumph of the soul that refuses to yield, there is a quiet lesson for all who watch from below. Greatness is not born from comfort.
ease, or certainty. It is born from standing firm when the night is long.
The path is narrow and the heart aches with the weight of every trial. The edge is no longer a place of fear. It is a forge, a sanctuary, and a testament to the unbreakable power that resides within those brave enough to choose fight over flight. The edge is not a place for hesitation. Every glance backward is a temptation to retreat, to step away from the weight pressing on the shoulders, to escape the uncertainty that stretches ahead. Yet looking forward, the horizon gleams faintly with possibility. Each step taken on that precipice is a declaration that the spirit is stronger than fear, that endurance matters more than ease, and that the will to rise outweighs the call to surrender. On this fragile ledge, the soul learns a language that the timid never hear. A language of resilience, of defiance, of unshakable faith in one's own capacity to endure. Even when the winds of doubt howl their loudest, and the darkness of uncertainty threatens to swallow the path ahead, the one who chooses to fight discovers that clarity emerges from chaos. Decisions once clouded with fear sharpen.
Actions once hesitant gain precision.
Every obstacle, every resistance, every invisible force trying to pull them back becomes a teacher, a guide, a mirror showing just how much power resides in steadfast persistence. The edge, terrifying as it may be, becomes a laboratory where courage is not an abstract idea, but a tangible, living force, forged in the crucible of struggle and tempered by the relentless winds of trial. The fight is not always grandiose or visible. Sometimes it is a quiet, uncelebrated act, standing firm when the world offers no applause, speaking truth when silence would be easier, moving forward when every instinct screams to stop. Each small victory builds momentum. Each act of defiance against the internal and external storms strengthens the foundation of the self, and slowly, imperceptibly, the edge transforms from a place of peril into a stage of empowerment. Fear no longer dictates the pace. Doubt no longer commands the direction. On this ledge, the soul learns that fight is not merely a reaction. It is a choice, a commitment, and ultimately a declaration of freedom. And then comes the understanding that the edge is not the end of the journey,
but the beginning of mastery.
To stand when surrender tempts is not just survival, it is evolution. Every heartbeat of courage, every decision to persist despite exhaustion, every silent act of will becomes a building block for a self that cannot be easily shaken, a spirit that cannot be denied. The precipice no longer intimidates because the one who stands upon it has discovered the infinite reservoir of strength within. They have learned that the human spirit's capacity to endure, to rise, and to fight is far greater than the challenges it faces. Finally, the soul on the edge realizes a truth that transforms everything. True power is not in the absence of fear, nor in the avoidance of struggle, nor in the safety of retreat. True power is the ability to choose, to rise, to confront, to persist, to fight, when surrender whispers so sweetly it could seduce the heart. It is the courage to face every storm, every shadow, every doubt, knowing that the act of standing is itself a victory. And in that act, the edge ceases to be a place of terror and becomes a monument, a testament to the unyielding, unstoppable, unbreakable force that lives in every soul brave enough to choose fight over flight. The world below may never see the battles waged on this narrow path. No applause greets the silent victories.
No eyes witness the quiet resilience forged in the crucible of doubt and exhaustion.
And yet, this invisibility does not diminish their power. Each act of bravery, each decision to rise despite fear, shapes the soul into something formidable, something eternal. The edge teaches that true strength is not measured in recognition or reward. It is measured in the refusal to yield, in the steadfast courage to confront life's storms head-on, even when no one else is watching. With each passing moment, the fight refines the spirit. Fear becomes an instrument of focus rather than a chain of limitation. Doubt becomes a teacher guiding the mind to clarity.
Pain becomes a fuel that propels the heart forward.
The edge transforms from a place of terror into a sanctuary of power, a space where every struggle is a step toward mastery. And in that transformation, the soul begins to understand that the storm outside is nothing compared to the storm within, and that controlling the latter is the ultimate victory. Finally, standing on this perilous ledge, the one who chooses fight over flight sees the horizon in full light. The path is no longer defined by fear, nor restricted by limitations, nor dictated by the voices that once whispered surrender. Each step forward is a declaration that the soul belongs to itself, that courage is not a momentary spark, but a blazing fire sustained by choice, by endurance, by defiance. And in that understanding, the edge is no longer a place to fear. It is a throne, a monument to the indomitable spirit, a reminder that those who dare to stand, to fight, and to rise will never be defeated. Rise will never be defeated.